Hello, welcome back to the Story Corner. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. I know your time is valuable, so the few minutes you spent here is special for me, I think. I am late again tonight. I'm sorry. I just had meetings and then I was on the phone with a customer. And then as soon as I got off, Caden was so sad. So I took a few minutes to put him to sleep and laid him down. So unfortunately, you probably don't get to see him today because he's sleeping, but that might not last long. Hopefully, he's just down for the night. But more likely, what's going to happen is he's going to just have a really good sleep for an hour and a half, and then I'm going to be up until 3 or 4 in the morning with him. That's probably what's going to happen. But oh well, we're doing the best we can. Anyway, just been crazy busy. Guess what Kaylissa said to me? My little girl, she's 6 years old. She says, "Mom, we haven't finished our little Harry Potter project." The sweetest lady that lives in our apartment building. She's from oh my heavens, I'm having a whole brain fart. She's Hispanic, but she's not from Mexico. She's from not Puerto Rico. My heck, I know where she's from, and I'm having a brain fart. But she's the cutest lady. She's so darling. She lives alone, and we go see her sometimes, and she had these little miniature model things that you like put together. You put the stickers on, take them apart. They're wood and sticker and cardboard and leather, and it has lights in it and everything. But it's a little model of a Harry Potter, like the platform 9 3/4 and the wand shop from the Harry Potter stories. It's so cute, and it's almost done. She just needs a couple more things that are really nitpicky. So it's going to take some time to just finish the last little bit. And then we're going to take it to her, to Mirella, and show her. And Kayla keeps saying, "When are we going to get that done? When are we going to get that done?" And today she's like, "Mom, we didn't finish the Harry Potter thing." And I said, "Oh, sis, I'm so busy. I can't do it tonight. I still have so much to do. So we'll do it maybe tomorrow if I'm not too busy. But I have meetings tomorrow too. And she goes, "Oh, we haven't done it forever." Mom, I kind of think maybe your brain is a little bit small. I was like, "What?" "Maybe your brain is just a little bit small." And I says, "You mean because I'm so busy and I'm working so hard all the time and I always have so much to do that I don't have a few minutes to work on your project? You think that that means my brain is small?" And she goes, "Maybe just a little bit." I can decide if I should laugh or if I should smack her. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I've been having a hard time dragging her into do school, and I've been working so hard that I'll pull her over and I'll make her do school while I'm working on other stuff. And then as soon as she sees I'm preoccupied, she sneaks off and plays or turns on the TV or whatever. And I was like, "Well, you haven't been getting your school done as much as you're supposed to, and we're behind. So maybe your brain is small." She's like, "No, my brain is this big." Oh my goodness. Oh. Such is life. Anyway, before I get started, what did you have for dinner? That's what my thing. That's what I like to ask. I love to know what everybody's cooking. I love to cook. We had chicken. I did baked chicken with mushrooms and green onions, and it was really good. It was juicy. Excuse me. It was drizzled with avocado oil and Parmesan cheese and cracker crumbs and like all. It was so good. And then Charles saw this recipe thing for these onions he wanted to try, so he sliced up onions and then he put seasonings and stuff, but it had grated Parmesan cheese underneath and on top of it. It was so good. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I did cilantro lime rice to go with it with fresh tomatoes cut on top, and it was yum. Haven't done dessert. Don't know if I will. I'm really tired and I still have hours of work to do. So I'll just eat a miniature marshmallow or something. I have ice cream sandwiches. Maybe that'll be dessert. And then I do like to show off the cute stuff I've made. So Let me grab a couple of things. These are random. I didn't look at them before, so I just pulled off the top two. These things have price tags on them, but the price of everything, all my stuff has gone up so much that I can't sell them for what I originally had set them for, because in order to replace the stuff that I made these with, they're like way more expensive now, so I have to pull all the prices off before I show them off, because if you actually wanted to buy it, I can't sell it for that teeny tiny little price that I used to get a couple of years ago. Oh, that's Caden waking up, I think. Maybe not. Maybe we're good. Anyway, look at these pink and green spring colors. Yeah, that's Caden waking up. So much for that little nap. And then some little sparkly lips. Now these, I put these little. Okay, better go get him. It's little heart confettis in there, but you can't tell. So they're just kind of a pinkish, a little bit cream goldy looking, I don't know, lips. They'd actually match my outfit. Cute, right? Anyway, okay, I'm going to grab Caden, and apparently he's not going to sleep, and he will join us for the reading unless he doesn't let me go. Right in there. Right in there. Come here. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, I love you. Okay, here's the cutest baby in the whole world. Say hi. Touch your puppy. Oh, do you love your puppy? You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Oh, I love you. He's such a handful. He makes me smile 1,000 times a day. And he gets 1,000 kisses a day. You're so sweet. Okay, letter 9. Evelina in continuation. Oh, do you love your doggy? Oh, it's so cute. October 1st. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. Good heaven, my dear sir, what a wonderful tale I have again to relate. Even yet I am not recovered from my extreme surprise. Yesterday morning, as soon as I had finished my hasty letter, I was summoned to attend a walking party to the Hotwells. It consisted only of Mrs. Selwyn and Lord Orville. The latter walked by my side all the way, and his conversation dissipated my uneasiness and insensibly restored my serenity. Nephew! At the pump room, I saw Mr. Macartney. I curtsied to him twice ere he would speak to me. When he did, I began to apologize for having disappointed him, but I did not find it very easy to excuse myself, as Lord Orville's eyes, with an expression of anxiety that distressed me, turned from him to me, and me to him every word I spoke. Convinced, however, that I had really trifled with Mr. Macartney, I scrupled not to beg his pardon. He was then not merely appeased, but even grateful. He requested me to see him tomorrow, but I had not the folly to be again guilty of an indiscretion which had already caused me so much uneasiness, and therefore I told him frankly that it was not in my power at present to see him but by accident, and to prevent his being offended, I hinted to him the reason I could not receive him as I wished to do. When I had satisfied both him and myself upon this subject, I turned to Lord Orville and saw with concern the gravity of his countenance. I would have spoken to him, but knew not how. I believe, however, he read my thoughts, for in a little time, with a sort of serious smile, he said, "Does not Mr. Macartney complain of his disappointment?" "Not much, my lord." "And how have you appeased him?" Finding I hesitated what to answer, "Am I not your brother?" continued he, "and must I not inquire into your affairs?" Certainly, my lord, said I, laughing. I only wish it were better worth your lordship's while. Let me then make immediate use of my privilege. When shall you see Mr. Macartney again? Indeed, my lord, I can't tell. But do you know that I shall not suffer my sister to make a private appointment? Pray, my lord, cried I earnestly, use that word no more. Indeed, you shock me extremely. That I would not do for the world, cried he. Yet you know not how warmly, how deeply I am interested, not only in all your concerns, but in all your actions. This speech, the most particular one Lord Orville had ever made to me, ended our conversation at that time, for I was too much struck by it to make any answer. I mean, that's pretty intense, flirtatious. Soon after, Mr. Macartney, in a low voice, entreated me not to deny him the gratification of returning the money. While he was speaking, the young lady I saw yesterday at the assembly with the large party entered the pump room. Mr. Macartney turned as pale as death. Here, tell you what, you can just make a great mess down here. All right? There you go. Oh. He's never satisfied unless he's making a mess. Goodness. Sorry. Oh, yawns. Okay. Soon after, Mr. Macartney, in a low voice, entreated me not to deny him the gratification of returning the money. While he was speaking, the young lady I saw yesterday at the assembly with the large party entered the pump room. The young lady is the young lady who's known as her father's daughter. He won't claim her, but then there's this other daughter. It's weird. Mr. Macartney turned as pale as death. His voice faltered, and he seemed not to know what he said. I was myself almost equally disturbed by the crowd of confused ideas that occurred to me. Good heaven, thought I, why should he be thus agitated? Is it possible this can be the young lady he loved? In a few minutes we quitted the pump room, and though I twice wished Mr. Macartney good morning, he was so absent he did not hear me. We did not immediately return to Clifton, as Mrs. Selwyn had business at a pamphlet shop. While she was looking at some new poems, Lord Orville again asked me when I should see Mr. Macartney. Indeed, my lord, cried I know not, but I would give the universe for a few moments' conversation with him. I spoke this with a simple sincerity, and was not aware of the force of my own words. The universe, repeated he. Good heaven, Miss Anville, do you say this to me? I would say it, returned I, to anybody, my lord. I beg your pardon, said he, in a voice that showed him ill-pleased. I am answered. Oh. So he's kind of letting her know, first by claiming to be her brother and her friend, and then saying, I really care about you. He's trying to let her know that he actually really likes her. And then she's saying, oh, I'd give the universe if I could talk to this other guy. And he's like, really? You're going to say that to me? And she's like, yeah, because it doesn't even occur to her. Partly that he might be falling in love with her. Like she's way too modest to assume that he would really be interested in her. And partly because she's so curious if this girl is the one that he's in love with, because this girl is the daughter of her father, right? Like it's so confusing, the whole situation, all sorts of twists and turns going on. So you can see why she's so wants to talk to him and find out, about this girl. My lord, cried I, you must not judge hardly of me. I spoke inadvertently, but if you knew the painful suspense I suffer at this moment, you would not be surprised at what I have said. And would a meeting with Mr. Macartney relieve you from this suspense? Yes, my lord, 2 words might be sufficient. Would to heaven, cried he, after a short pause, that I were worthy to know their import. Lord, oh, if that were all, your lordship could ask nothing I should not be ready to answer. If I were but at liberty to speak, I should be proud of your lordship's inquiries. But indeed I am not. I have not any right to communicate the affairs of Mr. Macartney. Your lordship cannot suppose I have. I will own to you, answered he, I know not what to suppose, yet there seems a frankness, even in your mystery, and such an air of openness in your countenance, that I am willing to hope. He stopped a moment and then added, This meeting, you say, is essential to your repose? I did not say that, my lord, but yet I have the most important reasons for wishing to speak to him. He paused a few minutes and then said with warmth, Yes, you shall speak to him. I will myself assist you. Miss Anville, I am sure, cannot form a wish against propriety. I will ask no questions. I will rely upon her own purity, and uninformed, blindfolded as I am, I will serve her with all my power. And then he went into the shop, leaving me so strangely affected by this generous behavior that I almost wished to follow him with my thanks. When Mrs. Selwyn had transacted her affairs, we returned home. The moment dinner was over, Lord Orville went out and did not come back till just as we were summoned to supper. This is the longest time he has spent from the house since I have been at Clifton, and you cannot imagine, my dear sir, how much I missed him. I scarce knew before how infinitely I am indebted to him alone for the happiness I have enjoyed since I have been at Mrs. Beaumont's. As I generally go downstairs last, he came to me the moment the ladies had passed by and said, Shall you be at home tomorrow morning? I believe so, my lord. And will you then receive a visitor for me? For you, my lord. Yes, I have made acquaintance with Mr. Macartney, and he has promised to call upon me tomorrow about 3 o'clock. And then, taking my hand, he led me downstairs. Oh, sir, was there ever such another man as Lord Orville? Yes, one other now resides at Berry Hill. It's cute. This morning there has been a great deal of company here, but at the time appointed by Lord Orville, doubtless with that consideration, the parlour is almost always empty, as everybody is dressing. Mrs. Beaumont, however, has not gone upstairs when Mr. Macartney sent in his name. Lord Orville immediately said, Beg the favour of him to walk in. You see, madam, that I consider myself as at home. I hope so, answered Mrs. Beaumont, or I should be very uneasy. Mr. Macartney then entered. I believe we both felt very conscious to whom the visit was paid, but Lord Orville received him as his own guest, and not merely entertained him as such while Mrs. Beaumont remained in the room, but for some time after she had left it, a delicacy that saved me from the embarrassment I should have felt had he immediately quitted us. In a few minutes, however, he gave Mr. Macartney a book, for I too, by way of pretence for continuing in the room, pretended to be reading, and begged he would be so good as to look it over while he answered a note, which he would dispatch in a few minutes and return to him. When he was gone, we both parted with our books, and Mr. Macartney, again producing the paper with the money, besought me to accept it. Pray, said I, still declining it, did you know the young lady who came into the pump room yesterday morning? Know her, repeated he, changing colour. Oh, but too well. Indeed. Why, madam, do you ask? I must beseech you to satisfy me further upon this subject. Pray tell me who she is. Inviolably as I meant to keep my secret, I can refuse you, madam, nothing. That lady is the daughter of Sir John Belmont, of my father. John Belmont is her father. Like it's so messed up. Gracious heaven, cried I, involuntarily laying my hand in his arm. Oh, how about if you don't take that? Oh, you little pumpkin. That is so scary. Hey, oh! You little fluff. What are you doing? Playing hide and seek behind the laptop. What are you doing? You're such a... Okay, sorry. We're right in this intense moment. I'm getting distracted. Okay. Gracious heaven, cried I, involuntarily laying my hand on his arm. You are then my brother, I would have said, but my voice failed me, and I burst into tears. "Oh, madam," cried he, "what does this mean? What can thus distress you?" I could not answer, but held out my hand to him. He seemed greatly surprised, and talked in high terms of my condescension. "Spare yourself," cried I, wiping my eyes. "Spare yourself this mistake. You have a right to all I can do for you. The similarity of our circumstances." We were then interrupted by the entrance of Mrs. Selwyn, and Mr. Macartney, finding no probability of our being left alone, was obliged to take leave, though I believe very reluctantly while in such suspense. Mrs. Selwyn then, by dint of interrogatories, drew from me the state of this affair. She is so penetrating that there is no possibility of evading to give her satisfaction. Is not this a strange event? Good heaven! How little did I think that the visits I so unwillingly paid at Mr. Brainton's would have introduced me to so near a relation. I will never again regret the time I spent in town this summer. The circumstance so fortunate will always make me think of it with pleasure. She's so sweet, so thrilled to have discovered a brother. Nice twist, right? I have just received your letter, and it has almost broken my heart. Now, if you remember the letter, he wrote it clear back days and days ago, but it takes a long time to get there. So she's written to him like 3 times since he wrote the letter to her telling her to avoid Lord Orville and to stay away from him, because she can't forget that one rotten letter that he wrote to her. He's like, you can't just forgive him everything, because that shows his true character is what he did in a moment of weakness, right? So all this time she's been with Lord Orville, and she didn't realize that he wanted her to avoid him. I have just received your letter, and it has almost broken my heart. Oh, sir, the illusion is over indeed. How vainly have I flattered, how miserably deceived myself. Long since, doubtful of the situation of my heart, I dreaded a scrutiny, but now that I have so long escaped, I began indeed to think my safety insured, to hope that my fears were causeless, and to believe that my good opinion and esteem of Lord Orville might be owned without suspicion, and felt without danger. Miserably deceived indeed. His sight is baneful to my repose, his society is death to my future tranquillity. O Lord Orville, could I have believed that a friendship so grateful to my heart, so soothing to my distresses, a friendship which in every respect did me so much honour, would only serve to embitter all my future moments. What a strange, what an unhappy circumstance, that my gratitude, though so justly excited, should be so fatal to my peace. Yes, sir, I will quit him. Would to heaven I could at this moment. She's so sweet because she knows what her mother went through and what her grandfather went through. And she knows what the Reverend went through, watching them suffer, falling in love with the wrong people and having their whole lives destroyed. And he's so worried about her and so protective. And she would never do anything to hurt him. So even though she's falling in love with Lord Orville, she realizes that if he wrote her this one rotten letter, it says a lot, right? That he's not the man that she thinks he is. And she's willing to sacrifice that to not hurt Mr. Villers, which is so sweet. Like, she loves him so much and doesn't want to hurt him. You want to jump up? Mama. Mama, mama. Ah. Hi. Is that you? Oh, saying hi. You're such a nut. I love you so much. Yeah, I love you. Okay. Okay. You, sir, relied upon my ignorance, I, alas, upon your experience, and whenever I doubted the weakness of my heart, the idea that you did not suspect it reassured me, restored my courage, and confirmed my error. Yet I am most sensible of the kindness of your silence. Oh, sir, why have I ever quitted you? Why been exposed to dangers to which I am so unequal? But I will leave this place, leave Lord Orville, leave him perhaps forever. No matter. Your counsel, your goodness may teach me how to recover the peace and the serenity of which my Unguarded folly has beguiled me. To you alone do I trust, in you alone confide for every future hope I may form. The more I consider of parting with Lord Orville, the less fortitude do I feel to bear the separation. The friendship he has shown me, his politeness, his sweetness of manners, his concerns in my affairs, his solicitude to oblige me, all to be given up. No, I cannot tell him I am going. I dare not trust myself to take leave of him. I will run away without seeing him. Implicitly will I follow your advice, avoid his sight, and shun his society. Tomorrow morning I will set off for Berry Hill. Mrs. Selwyn and Mrs. Beaumont shall alone know my intention, and today I will spend. You're so noisy. And today I will spend in my own room. The readiness of my obedience is the only atonement I can offer. Are you driving your car? So noisy. For the weakness which calls for its exertion. Will you, most honoured, most dear sir, sole prop by which the poor Evelina is supported, can you, without reproach, without displeasure, receive the child you have so carefully reared, from whose education... You're so noisy! From whose education better fruit might have been expected, and who... You're a stinker! Blushing for her unworthiness, fears to meet the eye by which she has been so cherished. Oh yes, I am sure you will. Your Evelina's errors are those of the judgment, and you, I well know, pardon all but those of the heart. You're noisy. Yeah. No. Okay, this one's super short, so I'm going to read letter 10. Letter 10, Evelina in continuation. Clifton, October 1st. I have only time, my dearest sir, for 3 words to overtake my last letter and prevent your expecting me immediately. Shh. For when I communicated my intention to Mrs. Selwyn, she would not hear of it, and declared it would be highly ridiculous for me to go, before I had received an answer to my intelligence concerning the journey from Paris. She has therefore insisted upon my waiting till your next letter arrives. I hope you will not be displeased at my compliance, though it is rather against my own judgment. But Mrs. Selwyn quite overpowered me with the force of her arguments. I will, however, see very little of Lord Orville. I will never come downstairs before breakfast, give up all my walks in the gardens, seat myself next to Mrs. Selwyn, and not merely avoid his conversation, but shun his presence. I will exert all the prudence and all the resolution in my power to prevent this short delay from giving you any further uneasiness. Adieu, my dear sir. I shall not leave Clifton. I shall not now leave Clifton till I have your directions. She's so sweet. She'll do everything she can to avoid him because she knows she's fallen in love with him. Oh, the next letter's a long one. A really long one. Okay. Well, then that'll be for tomorrow, and it'll probably just be the one. I did get the Anne of Green Gable books ordered, and I did order the set of 8. So we'll be a couple months reading those ones, I think. But I'm excited because I love the Anne of Green Gables books. So those will be here before this is over, and we'll start right into them as soon as we're done with this. Do you want to come say bye? Want to come say goodnight? Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? You so handsome. Okay, say bye-bye. Bye. Say goodnight. Blow kisses. Mwah. 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 Almost. He almost blew kisses. Oh, I love you. Thank you for stopping by, joining us for story time. I just enjoy you so much. Oh, Tess says bye. Love you guys. Good night. Oh, he saw the hearts. He saw the hearts coming up. That excited him. Thank you for the hearts. Bye. We love you. We'll see you next time. Oh, kisses. Blow kiss. Girl, look, she's sending more hearts. He loves that. That's so cute. Did you see those hearts? Oh my goodness. Arbaya and Tess sending you lots of love. Okay. Good night. We'll see you next time. Bye. You sweet baby. Oh, more hearts.